Hola, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Good evening. My name is Abelardo de la Peña Jr. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications with La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. Welcoming you to tonight's En Casa con La Plaza. En Casa con La Plaza, of course, is our La Plaza de Cultura y Artes virtual program. And we started doing this back in April of 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, bringing the best of Latino history, art, and culture from our home to yours. So tonight I'm at your home and hopefully you're comfortable in your home as well. Let's see, we'd like to thank our sponsors, CVS Health, Aetna, Union Pacific Foundation, Kaiser Permanente, California Humanities, the National Endowment for the Humanities as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, and also the Institute of Museum and Library Services. If you've joined us on Zoom, please use the chat feature. Let us know where you're viewing from. You could ask questions, make comments, do shout outs, lo que sea. Those of you who have joined us on Facebook, welcome as well. Use the comment feature, the comment right there. Just make comments. Let us know where you're viewing from as well. Ask questions, shout us. Please, this is an interactive exercise tonight. Anyway, a little bit of update of what's going on at La Plaza. We've been open since late last year, every day of the week. Please bring your proof of vaccination and wear your mask while you're indoors to view our exhibitions, including our permanent exhibitions, LA Starts Here, Calle Principal, and also our temporary exhibitions, Patriotism and Conflict. Frank Romero's going to the 1984 Olympics. And also, this weekend you could visit, no, you can't visit. Only during the week can you visit La Plaza Cocina, which is our new museum, a sister museum of La Plaza dedicated to Mexican food, the best cuisine in the world. We have an exhibition, Maíz, Past, Present, and Future. It's open Monday through Friday, 12 to 5 p.m. on Spring Street. And we are on Main Street, right across from Olvera Street. Plenty of parking all around us, and check us out, please. And it's free, gratis. And bring a few bucks to buy some gifts there at our gift store. All right, let's see. That's what I got for now. Oh, one big thing, we've appointed our new CEO, or it was our CEO. Our new CEO was announced. Leticia Ray Buckley, Veterans Art Administrator here in LA County, part of the Arts Commission. She's worked at the Music Center, Cirque du Soleil, KROQ. Big resume. She'll be joining us starting in April. So that's big news for there at La Plaza. And thanks to John Echeveste for taking the helm for the past 7 years. Who's retiring from the scene. Be relaxing on the beaches of around the world. Anyway, tonight's program, we have with us creative musician and filmmaker Giovanny Blanco. He keeps busy in front of and behind the camera and on and off stages all around the world. From being in Mermelada, the Dominican Republic's answer to Menudo in the 80s, to his current musical projects, which includes The Holy Broken, The Dirty Lowdown, Blanco and Junk, and Truck Stop Mixtape. He's been involved with Latino alternative projects, his own films, working on movies, TV, commercials, and much more. LATV, Univision, and others, always keeping his unique sense of humor and unbreakable positivity. So that's what this is about. We all need a little bit of a lot of positivity during these uncertain times. And this guy brings a smile to my face every time I check out what he's doing, his multiple projects. So let's bring on Giovanny Blanco. Please join us, Giovanny.
Hello, my brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Giovanny. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
You know, you always say worse things, but in general, good.
Well, that's what it is. It's positivity. It's optimism. It's looking at the bright side of things rather than the downer things. But to begin this, we got to kind of talk about what brought us together tonight, anyway. And that was the passing of a good friend of the both of ours, Agustin Gursa,
Yeah.
a former columnist, a writer, an extraordinary man who really embodied the LA music scene for so many years with his words, with his whole being. This happened in early January. It was a shock to many. In fact, Agustin Gursa was going to be my guest on Wednesday night, January 12th or something like that, to talk about the passing of Vicente Fernandez.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and then I saw the song that you composed for him on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, I was like everyone else. I was caught by surprise, and I knew that it happened on a Wednesday, I want to say, and it wasn't until Sunday morning that I had just, you know, for some reason, just checking things, saw that he had passed away. Like it was an LA Times article, and I was just like, this, he, we just communicated about like a month ago. Like he seemed fine. What happened? And I was just taken aback, man, because for me, it's just like I feel like doing the things that we do, working in communications and dealing with people, whether it's through entertainment or through social activity, you kind of run into people, you meet people that somehow leave a huge footprint in your life. And Agustin was one of those people that I didn't get to hang out with him that much. The second we met was for an article that he was doing for the LA Times in the early 2000s. And it was about struggling musicians in Los Angeles in the Latin rock scene. And we were supposed to meet for an hour at a coffee place at a diner in Echo Park. And we were there all day, and we just hit it off. And I say this, I was trying to explain this earlier to someone, that it was weird because I was at that moment in time, I was at a crossroads, a personal crossroads, and talking to him, he was almost like a father figure because I needed advice, but I didn't want unsolicited advice. And Agustin, those who know him way better than I do, know that he didn't mince words, but he was a very caring and generous person. And I mean, it was like he was, he helped me out, man. And it was just helped me out by hanging out with me and talking. And we were singing songs. We were like, people were freaking out. They were like, what if, these people, will they leave this diner, please? And we were high, man. We were just like so excited and happy. And it's just one of those cool things. And then after that, it's just that, on several occasions, he would kind of pop into my life and including when I met you, when we were doing El Quickie, the El Quickie project. And that's when I met you, just around that time. That he just came through in a way that just, it's crazy. Like, we were doing this project called a Quickie, and maybe we'll talk about it more later. But anyway, he put us on the cover of the LA Times of the entertainment section, and it was just like a rare thing for this particular project. And because of that coverage, and he does, he's just doing his job. He's just like, hey man, let me do this. But I ended up getting some much needed work at the time as a writer and editor because of it. And it was just one of those things like, dude, you saved me once again. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't know what you're doing. So I've always felt indebted to him, and just that's outside of being a fan, just of his work, because at many times it's felt that like he was the only voice for anything culturally speaking, whether it's like Mexican or Latino. He loved, salsa music and all this other stuff. And he just, he's one of the light shiners, man. He was just like one of the guys who just like, letting people know what was up.
No, completely agree. He came to, he first found out about what I was doing when I was working on another project, LatinoLA.com. A very early supporter and continued to be a supporter throughout. We had just same, we weren't intimate friends, but we got along. I lent him some of my Juan Gabriel records to download, and so no, he was always there, always a shining light. And at first, through this vehicle in Casa con la Plaza, I was thinking about doing a tribute to Agustin, but it was hurting, and it hurt a lot that
Yeah.
he passed. But I think this is in tribute to Agustin. So here, let me just flash a picture. Those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, Agustin Gorsa, LA Times columnist for a number of years. He wrote about the music scene in LA. Then he left the paper. He worked at UCLA on their Frontera collection, which is their sizable collection of music from both sides of the border. An excellent writer, a great friend, a great soul, and salud to Agustin. All right, so let's go on with the show. Let's talk about Giovanny Blanco. Let's hear it. No,
Yeah,
no.
where do we begin? What do we talk about, man?
Let's start at the very beginning. And this is something that you laid on me anyway, on us, that you were part of you're from the Dominican Republic.
Yes, I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but my parents are from the Dominican Republic. And when I was 10 years old, they decided it was time to move back. And so it was a complete culture shock for me. But I was already kind of having music dreams, wanting to be a singer, wanting to have a band. And at 9, 10, I'd seen a movie called The Idolmaker, and I was obsessed with this movie. And I thought that I'm going to be a singer. Anyway, we moved to Dominican Republic, and it was just culture shock because we were raised, this funny thing that there's no East Coast equivalent to the word pocho. But that's what I was, you know what I mean? I basically, second generation, didn't really speak Spanish, but understood my parents. But then they moved us to Dominican Republic, and my brother, my little sister, and I, we had to learn. We had to get into it. But once we were there, I mean, within 6-7 months, I was already looking for, I want to do something, whatever. And I came across this person who was looking for this group, this Menudo type group, a boy band, basically. And there were 5 members, and they had recorded an album. They were going to go on tour, and the 5th member left the band for some reason. And I went to high school with one of the guys in the band, or I was in middle school, and he said, "You want to just come in and check it out?" And I was just like, "Sure." And 2 weeks later, we were playing in a stadium, and I was just like, insane, like trial by fire. And my parents are just like, "Go have fun."
and did you have fun?
I had a blast, man. I had a blast. I mean, we were, it was for 11, 12-year-old to have these sort of dreams, and then all of a sudden be on the road, performing in front of thousands of people and being on TV shows. And we even went to, I don't know if you remember Raúl Velasco, Siempre en Domingo, right? He used to have a festival every year called América Esta es tu canción, which is just kids performing. And we got to go to, they shot it at Disney World, and we went to Disney, it was just like a crazy thing. I got to meet Raúl Velasco. It was just like insane, man. I did these are the memories that I have. I did a little dance routine with, oh my God, I'm going to forget her name. Oh my God, she was a huge pop star. We were the same age, but I'm trying to remember her name. Anyway, it's one of those things. It's just like, it's all downhill from there.
Let's check out a little Mermelada.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm the guy who's smiling too much from back. I it's like I look at that video. It's these. I'm gonna be blurting out weird things because if you pop it, but I had just I had a mustache, man. I had a mustache when I was like 10 years old. Just like, it's just one of those.
I could relate.
Let's call it a Latinx trait. Be blurting. But I wanted to get rid of it, and someone told me, if you shave, whatever, I'm 12, if you shave, it'll just grow back quicker. And I was just like, well, what do I do? And I was just like in my parents' bathroom and whatever, looking and stuff. And I found Nair. And I used Nair on my upper lip, and I was red for a week. So on that, like, I remember that particular video that they had to put so much makeup on my upper lip because my upper lip was still like roasted from putting Nair, like skin actually fell off. But hey, man, you live and learn.
You live and learn. So how long did you stay in the Dominican?
We were there for about 5 years. It's funny because I could still be there right now, but my parents had a separation. It was just like things were funky, and it didn't work out. And then they separated, and my dad was just like, well, I'm going back to the States, and my brother and me in particular, I was just, after Mermelada, I joined my first rock group in Dominican Republic. Actually, let me see if I can pull up a picture, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, please do.
Let me see. I can't. Oh, I don't know how to pull up a picture.
Like, open it. Just go ahead and open it so it's on your
screen. I see. That's right. Open it and
you share screen, and then you click on it, and there we go.
Where is it?
Or just to let people know, the pocho thing is real within the Mexican American community. It's that you go to Mexico, you're not Mexican enough for the Americans, for the Mexicans.
Completely.
In the United States, you're not American enough for the Americans. So you're caught in between, and there's got to be a name for it in the Dominican, but we'll go with pocho.
Yeah, I mean, I was a Dominican York, basically. That's what sometimes they call it that. But I was just trying to pull up a picture of the band because it's a I can't believe.
What was the name of the band?
It was called Foos. Oh, you know what? Maybe I can just share the hold on. You gotta see this. You gotta see this.
And it's FOOS or FUS or
it's FUS. So let me just I can share this. Hold on. Here we go. So do you see that picture?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So that's me at 14. That was a band called Foos. And we were playing this rock festival. But, it's one of those things that when I first came to LA many years later, people were kind of surprised that it's like, oh, you're Dominican? You can't possibly be into rock. And it's like, no, I was in a rock band in Dominican Republic, and there it is. And still, I look like the Gabacho or the.
That's the makeup, the.
Yeah, I did Egyptian eyes, like like the. Wow. You know what, man? Kids, man, we're crazy. We're like.
What was the genre? What was the?
It was hard rock. It was hard rock. So how do I get? Oh, I see.
Go to the top.
Stop share. Got it.
Go. All right.
I'm learning. Abelardo's teaching me. I know how to learning the Zoom thing. You would have thought that about 2 years into this thing, I would be more advanced in the Zoom capabilities. But yeah, no. So that was like my first. But I was in that band, and it was obviously, being in Dominican Republic, there was a clear ceiling of like, oh, how far you can do this, and when my dad came to the States, man, I was just like, I'm going with you. I don't care wherever you go. So he came first, and then my brother and I joined him a few months later. And then the crazy thing was just like about 6 months after that, my parents got back together again. So my mom and my sister flew out to, it was in Connecticut, and it was an okay few years before they actually got divorced. But they tried, man. They didn't give up. And all that while just trying different bands and stuff, doing different things.
So did you have any formal music education?
No. I mean, I was like I said, trial by fire, just being in groups and being in bands and doing things. And it's funny to me because I've when you mentioned the title of the show tonight, the sort of unbreakable positivity in uncertain times. And, I try to be as positive as possible, but my wife, when she saw the title, she just started laughing. She's like, because it's like we can't keep this. We can't be positive all the time. So what do you do to like keep it, not get crushed by all the negativity, all the nastiness of the world? And for me, part of it has always been staying busy, being creative with new projects and doing things. But I feel like from an early age, like from the Mermelada boy band thing, just like jumping into something that just barely a couple weeks in, I've always been like, let's do this. Something brand new. We can, nothing is impossible. And that to me has been a source of positivity, because when you feel like you're up for that kind of challenge every time, you have to pull every like positive ion of energy that you have inside of you to make it happen. So
No, completely agree. And that's I imagine your wife is I don't know her. I don't even know her name, but she might be the
I'm
punk.
not sure I know her either, man.
Kind of like an opposite. Is it like a yin yang thing that she has?
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah,
She's super chill and calm, and let's say she's a lot smarter than I am. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, most wives usually are. Yeah, my wife, in fact, today she sent me a quote. It goes, "I was smart enough to go through any door that opened."
Nice.
That's me. Sometimes it's not the smartest move, but at least you go through that door.
Vamos, like, let's get ahí está abierta. Vámonos. No, and that's the same thing for me, man. It's like, I feel like that's it's a survival thing where it's just like, you don't always know what's best for you, but you do know you seize opportunities. Any sort of situation where it's a chance for you to learn something in a fun way.
Yeah,
that's perfect for me.
all right. Well, when did you make it to this great city of Los Angeles? How did that come about?
Well, when I turned 25, I was just completely like at a crossroads. I'm just like, things weren't working out for me relationship wise. They weren't working out in the band that I was in at the moment, and I really wanted to try something new. And I always wanted to come out to Los Angeles when I was 16, 17. I ran away from home. I was coming to LA, and I made it as far as like New Jersey before I got caught by the cops. So it was always like a weird kind of in my mind. I knew that I was going to end up in LA somehow, one way or another. But I came here. I was just after hitting that sort of kind of dark, low moment. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go cross country, and I went visiting friends in different states. I had a job that was for several years working for a channel called the Nashville Network. It was a country music channel. So they had this Dominican York, the Brooklyn Dominican guy, videotaping and running sound for country events, you know, and it was just like there'd be singers, performers sometimes, but it was most of the time it was just like country line dancing contests. Anyway, it was a fun job because it was just it took me to almost every state in the country. So I got to see and meet a lot of really cool people. Plus, I got to discover a lot of music because working through country in that field, I got to know more about American music, you know, like pure country, like old school country, folk music, blues. Because everywhere that I went, people would say like, "Oh, that's the pop stuff. This is the real stuff." And then I'd discover whatever
mountain music.
Mountain music, you know, it's like it'd be like, whoa, this is, and then and in the end, it's like there's the parallels between that and everything else that I love musically. It's just it's music in the end, right? And so it was just very important. And then but anyway, I ended up in LA, and the first day that I was here, I came to see one of my best friends from high school who was still is a top engineer, a producer, and he worked at the time at a place called the Enterprise in Burbank. It was a big, and he was just like a runner. He was just like an intern kind of at the time. And I walked in. I was just like, "Hey, man!" It's just like, "Oh, dude, chill out right here. I'm still working." And I was sitting there in this place and watching people go by. Like I saw Dr. Dre walk by, and I was just like, whoa, this is like, I made it. I'm in Hollywood. This is crazy. You know, but I was sitting in this lobby and they had a bunch of magazines and newspapers on the table. And I picked a few up, and two of them stood out. One of them was this thing called La Banda Elástica, which was a Spanish rock magazine. And I was just like, what? You know, and I hadn't heard about Spanish rock since I was in Dominican Republic. So it was just like a crazy kind of like flashback. And then the Recycler had all these sort of like bands looking for singers and all this stuff. And, you know, basically what Craigslist is now, or any other, Facebook marketplace. The Recycler was on paper, and you were able to kind of get that stuff. And I was looking, and the combination of reading all the stuff of Spanish rock and seeing in the Recycler this one post that said, Spanish rock band looking for singer, influences Los Lobos, Van Halen, and Café Tacuba, and payasos need not apply. and I was just like, this is my joke. It's like I applied anyway, and but I ended up checking out a bunch of different bands. This is my first day there, and I just like was trying to see, like, feel it out and whatever. And I made appointments to go see people, rehearsals and whatever. And this one project, they were the only ones who were just like, look, we don't want to drag you out to a studio, whatever. Just come by, pick up the tape, and if you like it, then we can talk. And this is my first day in LA. I'm in Burbank, and this guy gives me an address, and it's in Hacienda Heights. So my first day in Los Angeles is me traversing Cesar Chavez, going through the 10, going through, like, just seeing all, you know, not seeing Hollywood, not seeing Beverly Hills or whatever, but going east. You know what I mean? And picking up this tape. And then I eventually made it back to Hollywood that night, and met up my friend at a place called The Frolic on Hollywood Boulevard. But all the while I was listening to this tape on the way back. And I'll never forget this. When I parked the car, I called my brother and I said, hey man, I think I might stay here for a little bit, you know? And after hanging out with my friend at the bar, the next morning I wrote lyrics there were 3 songs, instrumental songs. And I ended up writing lyrics for 2 of them on the spot. And I called the guy. I was just like, the drummer. I was just like, dude, I want to hook up. I was like, well, we're rehearsing. It was a Friday night. We're rehearsing Sunday. And I went to the rehearsal spot on Sunday, and there were 3 guys. It was me and 2 other guys, singers there. possible singers.
You were auditioning, basically.
Yeah. And the band was just like, they were particular, man. And instantly I loved all the stuff that they were just kind of weird about. But they were like, look, we're going to play the songs. And if whoever wants to jump up and sing with us or whatever is more than welcome. So they played their songs and they say, you know, does anyone want to jump up and whatever? And I said, I do. I'll jump up. I had already written lyrics. So I jump up, do one song. The band is like looking at me funny. The two guys that were there auditioning are looking at me funny. And one of them stands up and goes, hey, man, I didn't get any lyrics. You guys didn't send me the lyrics. And the drummer was just like, can I talk to you in the hallway? And so I went out to the hallway and I waited a couple minutes. And then he came out and he said, look, you're in the band. If you want to be in the band, you're in the band. We need to audition these guys because they came out. So just a thing, but come next Sunday and, you know, whatever. And that was it, man. And that was the band that I was in for like 10 years.
And
Viva Malpache.
Viva Malpache.
Viva Malpache. Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Let's see what we have here. I think I have Viva Malpache. Do you have anything on you?
I could dig something.
I think this might be it. Here, hold on. Let me share screen.
No, that's not Viva Malpache.
That's not it. Nope, that wasn't it. All right.
Hold on. I'll find something.
Let's see, ¿dónde está? No, I was able to. Okay, here we go. Viva Malpache live at the City Walk.
That's something.
All right. And you were with them for 10 years. That's when I first became aware of you, Giovanny, playing with these guys. And here goes.
And this is called Camino al Revés, another new song. Entre los días de sol y cielo azul cae una lluvia cruel, debajo un Dios que no perdona. Prendo el radio y tomo un café para sentirme bien, pero esto no funciona. Comenzó con la canción que sonaba con pasión de tal tipo vagamundo por el mundo sin rumbo, y ahí fue que recordé lo que algún día fue. Sin darme cuenta estaba llorando. Me encuentro otra vez contigo en la mente. No puedo comprender por qué tú estás ausente.
Oh, awesome.
Good times, man.
Very ska influenced. Ska.
Yeah, we had a lot of that. We were a lot of pop punk, you know, but our thing was that we love to bastardize our cultural rhythm. So we had songs that we would do like a ranchera rock style. We had a merengue rock song. We had cumbia, you know, and it's just a kind of thing like, instead of doing the typical punk ska thing, we were doing like punk ska. My camera's still on. Punk, but mixing it with the things that we grew up with, basically. And in the band we had originally the lineup was Robert Gonzalez, Esteban Ramirez, Jesse Gutierrez, Leo Cajina, Alan Lee. And then throughout the years, we had people kind of come and go. Robert was the initial songwriter with me. We wrote all the initial songs. And then the second era of the band, we had Darren Loke, Danny, who was there on guitar as well. Who else? We had so many people that kind of came through. So many cool people. Arturo Hernandez on keys. We just kept the thing going, man. We had released a couple of albums, did many tours. We were lucky enough to be on a couple of major tours and did Mexico several times, many times when the cross. It was just a good time, man. But we hit a ceiling again, I said the same thing earlier, but we hit a ceiling quickly in LA as far as what we could do as a band. And that kind of, it was why we kind of, we fit right in the scene really quickly, you know, because we were just like, how can we make an impact? How can we come in strong? And it was just like, well, the first year and a half, all our shows, we were wearing wrestler masks.
Oh, lucha libre.
Yeah. So, you know, Mil Máscaras and Santo, we had all the different masks. But and also all suited up. We were also, you know, so it was the OG kind of wrestler, you know, fat guys in the polyester suits kind of thing. And that so instantly, man, we came out and people were just like, who are they? And then our first CD was called The Greatest Hits of Viva Malpache. So people were just like, you know, where did they come from? What the hell? You know, so it was a good time, man. But it was frustrating on certain levels because we couldn't break the walls that we were in, and several things that could have happened, you know, didn't happen, and it's just the case of these kind of things. But we did write and record a lot, and we played a lot, man, and we still have an amazing following, man, in LA and across the country. Hardcore people who are the best fans in the world, man.
All right. Have you guys ever reunited for like a reunion?
We've done a couple, man. The last one was about 3 years ago. I mean, I think we're due for one. I think there was talk about doing some shows and possible little tour, but then, you know,
stuff happens.
the Rona came.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and you were also involved with you know, the challenge is of course getting your music out there by any means necessary. So there's touring, there's clubbing, there's you know, passing out tapes or CDs, you know, trying to get them into record stores, trying to get them into people's hands. But there was also at the time, you know, in the early, this is like the late 90s or early 2000s. TV shows. There were TV shows devoted to this type of music, including you know, the LATV.
Yeah.
So what was your involvement with that, with LATV?
That was another you know, chance situation. And I had found out a few years ago, because I didn't really know, but someone had contacted me and said, you know, you should go audition to be a host. And it was one of those things that somebody, it was Tomas Cookman from Nacional Records told Flavio Morales, who had started to run.
Well, he had illegal interns.
He had illegal interns, and what the station that they were at with illegal interns, they were about to move it to become LATV. So they were in the process of creating this whole new show and this whole new format and bilingual and making it basically taking what they were doing at illegal interns and making it like pop, you know, making it like super commercial. And so on the recommendation, I was told to go, and I went and I went and auditioned, and by all means, it was just horrible because I didn't know what was going. Like for me, I was just like, "What is this, a video show? What are we doing?" And then, but then I got the call. They said, "Look, you know, we got the first." They had they had a few hosts set for the show, and they said, "Look, we still like you. We'd like you to come on and do some things, do little segments and whatever." And I was just like, "I'd be glad to, man." I'm just like, "Sure, man, whatever." And it was just like, they had, I remember, because they had the hosts in the house, in the studio, presenting videos. But then I started doing segments on the street, covering events, like going out in the public and the Rock and Espanol shows and any sort of big events. And it was just me acting crazy. And that sort of, you know, they were just like, "I think we should let this guy do more," kind of thing. And then it was just like, I was on the show. But that was a great time, man. Another great opportunity. And it's funny, man, because I feel like, you know, this is another thing. Like I remember talking to Agustin and talking to a lot of friends about this, about how LA, how embraced I felt by LA. You know, when I first came here, the first band that I was in, people would say like, "Hey, man, you know, you have a different accent." You know, people are gonna say like, "Oh, you know, you're not Mexican, or you're not this enough, or you're not da 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 da," you know, whatever. And I was just always like, you know, I didn't see things that way. I like, to me, it was just like, all I see is just like beautiful people who want to have a good time, you know, and guess what? That's what it was. Never had any, you know, people would never said anything about it, you know, and I was just like, and of course the other side of it, my side of it, is that this is the stuff that I longed for all my life, because it's the stuff that, you know, that I grew up with in Dominican Republic. Sort of that the culture of being a Latino, but also being in a big city, which is what, growing up in New York and on the East Coast, having that mix in LA, and then it's just the warmth and the excitement of you know, whether it's Mexican or any other sort of people who come from other countries and come here, and it's like the reason for living. It's like there's so much more passion. And I don't mean to put any other cultures down, you know what I mean? But it's like, it fit, man. It just fit like a glove. And I felt like I was home. So things like that, things like LATV just gave me an opportunity to get to know more people, get to be more involved in the community. There were always activities going on where we would do benefits or do things for charity or work in different cities or parts of town. So I got to know like every little neighborhood, and that's the thing about LA being all spread out. You know, it's just like every little division, every little region, it's like, it was amazing, man. I mean, I felt like I was like the mayor at sometimes. That's like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it was good, man. And, but it comes down to the people, you know, it comes down to people being cool, you know, and being awesome, beautiful.
Well, you're cool, Giovanny, and you basically found your community, you found your people, and
Yeah.
and you became part of it, not as a bystander, not as a just observer, but actually getting involved, and that's what counts for a lot of people. You know, getting to know them, getting involved, hanging out, having fun. So I have a little clip here. I guess it's another band that you were in, Spiga. Tell us a little.
Yes, Spiga. So Spiga came about. Spiga is my best friend from high school, Mr. Jay Williams, Jace, who, one of my best friends, and we had started writing songs and making music in high school, and we were in bands together on and off. But once we were in our mid-20s, late 20s, we were on different coasts, and he ended up moving to San Francisco, and just like my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time, she was making a movie, and she needed a song for a scene, and she said, "I need a song that sounds like this. Can you think you do something?" I'm like, "Sure." And I talked to my friend Jay. I say, "Hey, man, we need this type of song," and we ended up doing a different song. It didn't sound like it at all, but for some reason it ended up being like the right song. And that song was a song called Papa Knows. I ended up sharing with friends of mine in LA, and people were just like, "Dude, you need to be doing this," you know, and so that kind of grew from that. And we kept writing songs, Jay and I, and recording, getting songs placed on TV shows and stuff, because we were doing like this sort of more basically, we were once described as a taco truck version of Hall & Oates. Because we were doing the sort of like bilingual sort of hip hop beats with the alternative rock vibe, and you know, again, one of those things. But yes, so that but we ended up touring a lot as well. We released a couple of albums. One is Spiga, and then we changed our name to Shoe Show because we started feeling like responsibility about the name because of the name's origin. You know, we were like, well, we got to grow up, man. We have to kind of do something different with this. We changed it to Shoe Show, which the meaning of is a lot more childish, but it's still part of our energy.
All right. Well, let's listen to a little, watch and listen to a little Spiga.
Spiga.
And we're going to combine it with LATV. So here goes.
Why are we doing this again? You know it's not the end, it's barely beginning. Cause every little thing we do comes back to me and you. So let's stop pretending. Say goodbye to the cherry tree. Get the dust off your tongue. And I won't run away with me. Cause 6 is 9 and 2 is 1. You know that I love. They say a super strong is bionic. All the games that we play and the same because this love is bionic.
Oh yeah, I can catch that Hall & Oates vibe there.
This I want to say real quick. There was Tara Pricing in there, Darren Loke on guitar, Lil Kahina on bass, Benji on drums, and Jay on the keys. And eventually, we ended up having more people from our hometown, from Hartford, from our Hartford High School that we grew up with. Carla Pereira, John Cornelius, and we had Troy Costin on drums. And that was the last incarnation of the band before we broke up.
Wow. Well, you have a show shoe that you'd like to show us. Is that right?
Yes, I do have a shoe show. So Shoe Show Spiga became Shoe Show. Let me see if I can make this work. That'd be awesome if I can. Share screen. Files. Advance from video from folder, right? Or where is it now? If this works. Can you see that?
Yes. Can't hear the audio though.
Oh no. Okay. So I gotta do that again. Oh no. Okay.
Looks good. Who did your video?
I shot and directed the video. But let's see. Share screen again. Share sound. Share portion.
Got it. Yes.
Technology will get you.
Much
you, man. It was a good group. I love that funky
I'm like,
beat there.
I guess Abelardo's gonna stop it at some point. I'm like, oh wait, no, I got to go. Yeah, technology. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's funny because listening back to some of these things, I realize that sometimes we're overtly political, you know, in what we do, and over the years, sometimes it's silly, sometimes they're both combined. Sometimes you find a way to say something serious in a humorous way. But I think that's part of the duality of the lives that we live, like as Latinos in the US, and how we have the sort of the double cultures, and it's just like faraway land and un pie aquí y otro allá, right? The old culture, the new culture, you know, what's, and nowadays it's like what used to be and what would be considered offensive or wrong, and what is now, and what is the truth now, what are we trying to kind of bring forward now, you know, all these kind of different things, man. It's just like we live in this and it's easy to kind of write about that stuff.
No, well, and you bring it to life, you know, bring it to sound. You have. It seems like your foot or your hands or your head or whatever, your ears, and so many different types of music, but you're able to embody whatever it is in a really transformative way. I really like that. Oh, but one thing that I did notice on that one is you had that little stash there, which
yeah, well, that this happened right after El Quickie.
All right, and let's talk about El Quickie.
El Quickie was something that towards the end of Viva Mapache and the beginning of Spiga, and we had done some tours off the first record, I was trying to figure out what my next work situation was going to be. I'm a filmmaker, editor, producer, whatever, and I wanted to do a documentary about what it is to be a working musician at a certain age, and how you're not trying to chase fame or whatever, but you're just trying to get by and trying to get your what you're trying to express out into the world. So it was basically, I was trying to take it, you know, where I was personally, but what I wanted to do was follow a band that was in this place. So I set up a budget and proposal, all this stuff. I even found a band to follow for a year while they were going to record an album and go on tour. And the money fell through, and I was just like, oh, you know, what am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like one of those things that I knew that I had something on the horizon, like a job that was coming. And it was 2.5 months away. And I thought, I can take this job and do this. No, I'm sorry. I need to do something for money, right? So I have to take this job, but I really want to do a documentary. And it kind of occurred to me to like, well, why don't I just create a new band for this documentary? For just out of thin air. Let me put together a band and have that band go through the motions of whatever a band would go through a year or two, but try to do it in like 60 days or less. So basically put together a band, write an album's worth of songs, record, get fans, get, like at that time it was MySpace, get at least 500 fans on MySpace, get some press, create videos, and do one big show, and then break up after the show. So that's why I was called. We didn't have a name for the first 20 days, and then somebody suggested El Quickie, and it was just like, yes, El Quickie. But that was with Jose, Moises, and Paul, that was a blast, man. And it was one of those things that you know, I kind of rediscovered my crazy side and my fun side, and we were just, you know, everyone was in it 100%, and we had a blast, man. And that show was, you know, one of my favorite shows of my whole entire life, and it was so much fun. And it was I remember it was when I first started communicating with you a lot, because that was with Latino LA. You know, I was just trying to get any press anywhere, and you guys were one of the few people who were just like, "Oh, this is a great idea. Let's just, I'll promote it or whatever." And I'm just like, "Yes." So that's like we've been friends since then. I'm just like, "Yes, that's awesome."
That was that open door. You know, there was an open door. You provided it. We went into it, and I remember I had to give up my mustache.
That's right.
To donate it to the band.
That's the thing. We were trying to find a hook. We're like, well, what's our hook? It's like, well, we should all have mustaches, and that was it, you know. And then, you know, that's where Agustin also enters the picture again, because Agustin gave me a call and said, "Hey, I'd love to interview you about this project that you're doing." And I was just like, that would be great. And I thought it was like, cool, it'll be a little thing. And ended up being the cover. You know, we're like the three of us mustache dudes on the cover, and it was just like, oh, this is real. This is really happening.
It's real.
You know, and it was a cool thing, man. Out of that, like I always say, like out of that, you know, we had you know, a deal to you know, a development deal to write a quickie, like a TV show, and it was just like this crazy work came out of this, man. And sadly didn't happen. It's just like the typical kind of thing that happens, people, whatever. But I got work, and it's just like it was amazing. It was so cool, man. And but the experience itself, man, is basically to not be afraid to jump in, to if you don't know what you're doing, then you know you're in the right place, you know, because you'll figure it out. And to trust the people around you. You know what I mean? If you can manage to find people who are almost as crazy as you, then just let go and it's just, I have very fond memories of that, man. And it was a good time, and it was actually fruitful for everyone involved, because I know that everyone involved went off to do crazy things. And after that, because it was like inspirational that, you know, that there's no one way of doing something, you know.
Well, this was a quick way, and just so much fun. And I'm here. Let's share a little bit of the big concert you had at
Querido Billy Ray, ¿te gustaría escuchar una melodía especial? Seguro que sí, señor. Seguro que sí. ¿Qué tal si nos remontamos a los años 80 y interpretamos una melodía de un famoso actor?
Oh, this is them doing a cover. Yeah.
Gracias. Gracias a ti. Eres sexy. No, y tú, profe. Manténlo real, por favor. Siempre real. Pablito, give us the beat. Why you wanna
cover of Party All the Time, made famous by Eddie Murphy himself.
By Eddie Murphy,
Oh,
Rick
yeah.
James, and Eddie Murphy. Classic '80s tune. We had written a bunch of tunes, and we had some covers for the night, and we had a blast, man. We ended up doing a few years later a little reunion out at East.
And East Side Love.
East Side Love at East Side Love, yes, and that was again a blast as well. But I'm sure who knows what will happen, man. We'll probably meet up again.
I'm on mute. Okay, let's fast forward here. And now, you know, you've been working in the business, in the music business, doing all kinds of stuff, producing, performing, of course, also as a filmmaker, you know, directing, all kinds of stuff. You've been very active. This is you work as you're a freelancer, basically.
I'm a freelancer, but basically what I do the most is editing. That's what pays me the most. But I love any sort of creative challenge, man. I've done a bunch of music videos over the years. My wife, my brother, and I produced and released a couple of super low budget features that we did over the years. And everything is always just kind of like slightly last minute for me. It's like, ooh, can we do this? And before anyone says, that's gonna take you 2 years to do, I'm just like, we're halfway through it. Like, we're almost done, you know. And it's just because of you know, I love I feel like a lot of times we will tell ourselves that we can't do things, or we say no because logistically it doesn't seem right, or it doesn't seem possible, you know, or the examples before just have told us differently, you know. And I feel like that when you want to do something, man, you should just do it, you know. And I mean like anything creative, because in the end, it's just you're putting that positive energy out into the world, you know. And it doesn't matter if 3 people see it, or if 3,000, 300,000, you know, 3 million. I believe in that energy, man. And I believe that it's a good energy for you as a creative person, you know.
All right. Well, you're still putting yourself out there during the pandemic. Of course, you started. Oh, let's first talk about the Holy Broken.
The Holy Broken has been my original band for the last 5 years or so, and still here. And that's been also a blessing, man. It's right now it's been Scott Persico, guitarist since the beginning, and Toby Kyle and Kevin Brown on drums, Toby Kyle on bass. And it's just been a cool opportunity. We early on, our first gig was at this place, a bar out in Burbank called the Park Bar, that basically we made our home. We played there once a month, and through that residency, we had one rule, is that every time we played, we had to debut a new song. And it kept everyone, kept us working, man. It kept us in that, and you know, so we're not just like playing another show. We're not doing, hey, the same songs or whatever. We were always, you know. And then we started doing theme nights there. We were doing like, you know, tributes to Tom Petty and Tom Waits and Bob Dylan and Prince and Bowie and the Rolling Stones. We were just like, you know what, this month we're just gonna do these people. And it's just like, it's again, when you dive in to the catalog of an artist or a creative person in any way, it's always exciting to kind of discover all these things that you kind of knew and some things you didn't. But it's even better to try to figure them out yourselves, because you find something out about yourself and your attempt to do this stuff. And the benefit is always the people who are watching, you know, or just hanging out. And so that was great, man. And, you know, of course, the pandemic hit and that stopped the bar. We stopped doing that. And funny enough, that residency, we eventually ended up calling it Truck Stop Mixtape. And it's because inspired by my many years of touring and going cross country many different times, it's always when you're on the road, especially back in the day, you'd stop at a truck stop and they'd always have these sort of, compilation albums, 15 grandes éxitos de los Tigres del Norte. And you're just like, that was like the time you'd buy that cassette. You'd be like, whatever. Or you'd buy, the greatest hits of 1978. And it's just like these sort of cheap mixtapes, and they were always themed or whatever, music of France, and you just buy it because you're on the road and you wanted something different.
$4.99 for
$4.99. It was just it was like four tapes for $10, and you'd be like, let me scoop up the best of the Cars or whatever, and that was kind of the spirit behind the nights that we were doing. So when the pandemic hit, my other band that I do, I have a band called the Dirty Lowdown, and we're a cover band, and we specialize in 70s, early 80s groove-oriented pop. So basically it could be soul, it could be yacht rock, it could be AM Gold or whatever, but songs that other bands don't necessarily play. Because it's songs that we love. And when the pandemic started, we started doing covers online. Just the four of us inviting other musicians to participate. And that the sort of the communal aspect of it in that first, we're talking March and April and May of 2020. Where we're like, everyone's just like, what the hell's going on? We're in this. And I was just like, dude, let's keep doing this. People are digging these videos. We're having fun. I'm getting people like, we were having a bunch of people sing, just random people. You didn't even have to be a singer, singing backups and all this stuff. And it was cool, man. It was cool. And we did like 10 of those. And then, that summer, the summer was on fire, George Floyd and all the the protests, and then the crazy sort of spin in the press and president and all the craziness that was going on. And I got into a funk, man. Personally, I was just like, the unbreakable positivity was broken, and I just felt like it wasn't like I couldn't, in that time I was just like, I felt like I needed to do more, or I needed to help out in a different way, because it didn't feel like it felt very selfish at one point to continue trying to do music, blah, 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 and but it was a few months later, I started seeing people do more things online, people performing, friends and friends of friends who were playing online and talking, and people doing like little Zoom talks live, and it kind of got me going again. It was just like, it was around Thanksgiving of 2020 that I thought, thinking, what do you, grateful for? That's what I was thinking. I was just like, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for my family, for my friends, and I'm grateful for music and how it makes me feel, and what I'm able to do with that. And I just realized that I hadn't done anything with it for months. And that's where the online thing to show happened, Truck Stop Mixtape. And I started then, and I've been doing it every week, sometimes twice a week since then. And it's just basically every week, I ask friends, I ask people that are making music out there to record themselves doing a cover or submit an original song around whatever the theme is that week. So the theme could be a tribute to an artist, or the theme could be something as abstract as songs of protest, or uplifting songs, or songs that, it can just change every week. And every week's been a different thing, man. We just did, last week it was songs that were popular this week in 2003, just like random things, But I also play new music. I also support new artists. I love reaching out to people. Sometimes it's like, I kind of curate the show depending on the theme. I'll look for songs that people are doing. But the second I mention it too, people will submit their versions as well, and again, it's kept my musical community alive, like that connection. And it's inspired me too, man, because it's just like to see some of these versions and some of these covers that people are doing, and just seeing things that people are doing on their own, man. It's always uplifting for me. And
it's an incredible series that you've done, and I just give you, I don't know where you're finding all these artists, but for instance, you had one on that I was listening to recently, and there was a gentleman, I think it was a year that you picked, and so people were doing songs on a particular year, and this gentleman from England, he did that Mazzy Star song.
Oh yeah. Frank Watkinson. I mean, and he's popular on YouTube, man. It's funny, man, because this is the kind of thing that freaks me out. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, it was like, you're right. It was like 1994, I think it was. This week in 1994. And I found his version of Mazzy Star's Fade Into You. And I reached out to him and talked to him, and he was super kind. And he's like, yeah, please play the song. And eventually I played other songs of his, other covers on the show. And we became friendlier. We kept talking and whatever. And then I said, you know what? I did a whole show with him, just having an interview with him, talking to him. We talked for 2-3 hours and played his videos. And we had so much fun, man. This guy, a week or two later, he sent me an email and say, hey, check this out. And he had covered one of my songs.
Wow.
And it was like, man, I'm getting goosebumps. Man. Just like, it's just crazy, man. It's just like, these moments are if we don't put ourselves out there, right? If you don't take whatever craziness you have inside, and if you want to be a songwriter, a performer, or writer, or director, or whatever you want to do, creative. I mean, and it doesn't necessarily just apply to the creative field. It applies to every day, like surviving in the times that we live in, with all the hatred and all the division. It's like you have to, you can't just shut out the noise. You have to put something forward. You know what I mean? It's like you can shut out the noise for so long. You have to take positive energy. You have to like dig deep and try to find a way to get through. And when you do that, other people see that. Other people will be like, okay, I'm vibing on this. This person, it feels like World War III is about to happen. And this guy has a smile. Why are you smiling, man? And it's just, he'll be like, I heard this song today and it made me smile. And then you remember, man. And it's like, this is why, I mean, especially music. It's the blanket for our souls, man. It's like, it keeps us, safe. And going back to Frank, man, it's just like when you meet people like this who are doing this and they're having fun and they're doing the covers, and then they involve you one way or another, and you realize it's like, we're all in this together, man. We have to like remember that we're people, and we need to find ways to communicate. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant now.
Oh, that's okay. but really, what better way than music?
Yeah.
I don't think there is. It's something that's universal. No matter what language you're singing or what instruments you're playing, it's a connection, and it brings us comfort. It brings us joy. It brings a smile to our face. It brings us sadness. But it's that connective tissue that really binds us together. And you're just such a great host in first of all, in finding all these artists, making that community, bringing them online, sharing them with people that are out there, that are that are just open to it. And one of the better parts is hearing you sing as well, and hearing your exuberance when you're sharing the music. And I'm just going to play real quickly this one little clip here. Here it goes.
Folks, this is Truck Stop Mixtape. Love playing this music, love doing this stuff. I'm gonna try to play a song now. I'm just looking at the list of the top 100 songs, see what could be played, and I was going down the top 10, and I pulled this one out. So I'm gonna try this one. This was number 11 this week by 3 Dog Night, and never played this before, but it's simple enough. Can't mess it up too much. Hopefully. It's called I've Never Been to Spain. Here you go. Well, I've never been to Spain, but I kinda like the music. They say the ladies are insane there, and they sure know how to use it. They don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. I can't refuse it. Well, I've never been to England, but I kinda like the Beatles.
All right, well, just leave it at, no, I love that song. 3 Dog Night was a cover band.
They were the best cover band in the 70s,
oh
man.
my God, yeah, that was incredible. That was a Hoyt Axton song originally. But
Yeah.
they were the best back in the early 70s. So many. They covered Joni Mitchell. They covered
Everybody, and the style and the genre didn't matter, man. And it just ended. If it ended up a 3 Dog Night song, all I can think of is just like, well, whoever wrote it, gonna get that check, because they were huge.
Oh yeah.
But thank you for showing that, man. I mean, it's again. I the show happens and everything that I do is because I want to do stuff, and on the show occasionally I take advantage of the themes to try to learn things myself, because the way my mind works, it's like, and I know that a lot of people can relate, like, unless there's a deadline, unless there's a fake gun put to my head, but I gotta, it's like, so there's a theme that night, and it's just like, I'll just look, okay, what song, let me, and through this show, this is going to be funny, through the show, I picked up a guitar. I started learning how to play guitar on the show. Wow. So it's been like, this is the kind of, like, I always wanted to learn and I never did, and now I'm doing it because I'm forcing myself to do it in front of people online. It's like, trial by fire. But I'm learning, man. And so again, it's just one of those things, man. It's like, I keep on trying to bring it back to the theme of unbreakable positivity. And it's really just like, it's about avoiding fear, just like, or taking fear and turning it into something else, because it's just like, don't let fear stop you, or logic for that matter.
No, but the beauty of it, especially in your case, is you have the talent to back it up. You have you have the chops, and you make it work, and no matter what milieu you're in. Just real quickly, I'm gonna play. You also do your solo stuff, original music, and we have one here called "So Wrong" by Blanco and Junk. So tell us what that's about.
Well, Blanco and Junk came about because again, last year, I had a big a milestone birthday, and I always imagined that I would have a big concert with all my friends and play music, and no such thing. So instead, I decided to write and record an album, and I had like 10 days. I'm like, I'm just gonna record an album, whatever. And I just like I did that And I realized that it was the first time that I'd ever done a project by myself. Like my whole entire life, I've always collaborated with other people, written songs with other people. I've written songs by myself, but I've always brought them to a group or a project with other people that I'd never been, because forced by the pandemic, not being able to hang out with other people to play or perform, I was just like left to my own devices that I had to I said, I'm going to write and record an album. And I did just that. And I released it. I released it just for a week and I pulled it off. It was just like, nobody should be listening to this. So basically I've been releasing the songs one by one, several months at a time. And So Wrong is the third one, since last year. And it's I mean, it's just,
let's hear it.
oh, yeah. It's hard to describe. I mean, I can try.
We've been walking down this crazy road, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, different strides to a finish line that isn't there. We made mistakes and made up our minds. We went our ways and lost touch in time. What remained was killed with wine, but we didn't care. You're not supposed to cover your tracks, 'cause if you get lost, you can't find your way back. And I was so wrong. It was right there in front of me all along. I was so wrong. I did everything to keep it moving on, because it doesn't end when someone calls your bluff. Sometimes your best is just not good enough. Why does giving in feel just like giving up? Damn, you can't predict how much love is enough.
Man, that is, I heard it once and it was just, it stays in my head. It is a beautiful, beautiful song. No, good hook.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Thank you, man. I again, it's just, we just write stuff and you hope that it makes sense to somebody. But eventually I did get, I want to say real quick, Jeremy Fleener, who helped me out with the guitars on the stuff, on the album stuff. John Cornelius and Toby Kyle with bass parts. Who else? Cindy Law with a lot of piano throughout everything that I've done in the last year with Blanco and Junk. People who just kind of lend their talents to help me realize this stuff, man, because it's like, again, this is a culmination of my entire life, just not necessarily the sum of my entire life. It was just like a situation where I never had this before, where I was just like, well, I'm writing this for me to release by myself. And it was just, it's weird. It's weird. But what I was going to say is the song's about is basically sometimes if you overthink things, you end up trying too hard, and you think you're trying to save something or help something, and you're just making it worse. So it's just that sometimes you just have to kind of do it and not think too much about it, because that's what counts, is that you came through and you did your best. You can't be responsible for every little detail, you know.
No, well, thank you for sharing that, Giovanni. This has been very enjoyable for me, and I know we have a few people out there. We have Veronica Lozano Ruiz Carrillo saying that's nice, great song. She's been
Oh,
watching live from Lincoln Heights.
Lincoln
She's
Heights.
she's asking that milestone, was it that you talked about, that milestone birthday, was it 40?
Oh, I wish. Verónica, 50.
All right.
Yes.
And Diana Martinez, your message of positive energy is the best. Negativity
Oh,
is so draining, and you remind us that being positive is about healing and lifting up each other. Thank you so much.
thank you, Diana. Thank you.
All right, we have let's see, Edgar Molina,
I
love
feel
you,
like you're I
G.
feel like you're Art LeBeau, man.
Vicky LA, there's a lot of emojis with the birthday cake and the little things coming out of the confetti. So Vicky LA, she sends her best on your.
Vicky, I love you, Vicky. I know
And
Vicky.
and
You're the
Patricia
best.
Reynolds, she's enjoying the show from Riverside, Califas, home of the Chich Marin Center for the Chicano Art and Culture, opening in
Yes.
June.
Yes. Let's have a party when that opens.
Let's do that. Well, thank you, Giovanni. This was incredibly fun for me, entertaining, and also illuminating. You know, I've been a fan for a while. Now we've learned a lot more about Giovanny Blanco, from Mermelada to the Dirty Lowdown to Holy Broken, and much more. You've brought so much joy to people.
I want to say two things real quick,
Sure,
Abelardo.
go
I
ahead.
just want to mention something. On March 5th, I'm having a big kind of the compensation of what I wanted to do last year. It's called the Holy Broken Hearts Club. It's March 5th, a Saturday, March 5th at 8:00 in at a place called Rock and Roll Pizza in Simi Valley at the Harley Bowl. And it's just the Holy Broken with a bunch of artists. Sandra McCann, Will Hawkins, David Brookings, Paige Peel, June Gloom, Debbie Hennessy, Wills Bach, and everyone's just gonna be jumping up on stage with us. I was inspired by the movie The Last Waltz,
Yes.
The Last Waltz,
Yes.
and it was just one of those things that if this becomes our last show, which it won't, but just in case, because we don't know how the world's going, I just want to have a big party and have it be like a bunch of people jumping up on stage and singing songs with us. It's going to be a great celebration. So please, March 5th, you can go to theholybroken.com or truckstopmixtape.com and the information will be there. And second, I just want to say, brother, thank you so much for doing what you do and doing it week in, week out. Like I said, when I met you back then and you were doing Latino LA, it was for me a source of information and constant support, because you always back me up in any little stupid thing that I was hey man, I'm doing this show, and be like, I'll talk about it, I'll post it. And you came through, and I know that, like me, there have been thousands of others that you've done this for. And I just want to thank you for all that, for always thinking about keeping this up, keeping the cultural of Latino-ness and Mexican American culture and being involved in the scene and being in it, man, being in it. Because it's like, it ain't easy. And I'm sure your wife
She's in the other room asking, man, when's he going to be done? And closes the door. Goes, can't you be more quiet? Goes, yes. Okay, I'll try.
So thank you, for real. Thank you, man. You are a shining star, man.
Oh, well,
you help us all.
Well, we're going to try to make it to the Holy Broken Lonely Hearts Club Band, whatever you're calling it. No,
The Holy Broken Hearts Club.
there
Yes.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
March 5th.
Simi Valley.
All right, Simi. That's a long ways, but yeah,
You can make it. You can make it.
All right, all right. I'll bring my ukulele. All right.
Yes, please.
Well, thank you, Giovanni. This was, like I said, it's just so much fun. Your positivity is endearing. It's catching, and I'm glad you made it tonight, and we had ourselves some fun. And all of you out there, I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you caught some of it, you want to watch it again, we recorded it. We'll be posting it on our YouTube page at La Plaza LA, YouTube.com.
Is this the longest one you've done so far?
It's almost there. You're almost beating Edward James Olmos. Edward James Olmos, man. He kept on for years. But no. It's worth it. Also on our website, lapca.org, you could catch this one and all the 265 that we've done before. Cooking demonstrations, performances, incredible presentations and conversations. That's what we do here at En Casa con La Plaza. Coming up next week, La Plaza is closed on President's Day, so we're going to take that day off. We usually have our cooking demonstrations on Mondays, but we're going to save it for the next week. We have on Tuesday, Mexican-American history maker Senator Maria Elena Durazo in conversation with Dr. Jose Luis Ruiz. So check that out. That's on Tuesday, February 22nd. It's online here on Zoom and on Facebook. Our first public program of the year at La Plaza. It's a documentary that's coinciding with our current exhibition. The documentary is called Ruben Salazar, Man in the Middle. Ruben, of course, the pioneering journalist who unfortunately met his demise at the Chicano Moratorium, August 29th, 1970. It's an incredibly entertaining and illuminating documentary by director Philip Rodriguez, who will be there at La Plaza. It's an outdoor patio screening. He'll be there to talk about the documentary that he shot back in 2014. And then finally, next Friday, Dan Guerrero, the son of Lalo Guerrero, Bon Vivant, host with the most. He'll be here with guest Pepe Serna, Latino film veteran who was in Scarface, Ballad of Gregorio Cortez.
Hollywood Nights.
Yeah, there you go. And then also most recently on the Amazon Prime, With Love, that was premiered late last year. A really nice series of a Latino family living in, of all places, Portland. But it's a cool one. So you got to check it out. Pepe Dan Guerrero next Friday at 7 p.m. on Zoom, Facebook Live, free of charge. Come and join us. And with that, let's thank our sponsors one more time because they're paying the bill. CVS Health, Aetna, Union Pacific Foundation, Kaiser Permanente, California Humanities, and the National Endowment for Humanities, and the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Buenas noches. Giovanni, thanks for hanging out with us.
Muchísimas gracias. Cuídense todo. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cuídense todos. Everybody out there, we'll see you soon. Buenas noches.